Welcome to Midlife Moves, where we're figuring out this whole midlife thing one day, one workout, and one what the hell just happened moment at a time. I'm Heather, and if you're navigating career shifts, fitness goals, parenting teenagers, or just wondering when the hell we became the grown-ups, you're in the right place. Let's talk about the real stuff, no filters, just honest conversations and a little bit of chaos. Let's get into it. Hi, I'm Heather Francis, and welcome to another episode of Midlife Moves. Once again, guys, if you're on YouTube, the house is a shit show. My daughter's moving into a house. In 2 weeks, we have furniture being delivered for her. There's carpets back there. There's tools. There's just shit. There's just shit everywhere. And honestly, I'm tired. So we're just, if I have to look at it, you have to look at it too right now. So we're just going to pretend it's not there. The episode that I was going to do today was on body image. I was very excited about it because I haven't done a fitness episode in a while, and I haven't talked about like my gym stuff and like the stuff that I wanted to talk about body image today. That was my plan. But then this week I had an incident happen that I thought was more important to talk about. So I'm switching gears a little bit. So I walk. I think that I've been pretty open about how much I love walking. It is very therapeutic for me. The problems that I can solve while I am out on a walk alone are substantial. It is a way for me to clear my mind and just be with myself. I don't listen to anything. I don't put my headphones in. I just walk and I think. And it's the only time I'm quiet like that. And so, especially when I'm going through things, I like to go to this one particular place and I get lost in the woods. And I used to be really scared of doing that. And then I started doing it. I would bring my dog for a long time. And then I wasn't so scared anymore. And it became a place that felt safe for me. It wasn't just that I wasn't scared anymore. Like, this was like a safe place for me. This was my happy place. On Thursday, I pulled into my happy place. I get out of my car and it was very quiet. Like, we had all the Canada smoke haze here. So most smart people were inside. It didn't occur to me that was a problem because I also don't watch the news. I just wasn't thinking. I pull into this parking lot and there's not a ton of people there, but I start walking and I'm on the trail. And as I'm on the trail, I'm noticing this man who is walking kind of in circles on one part of it. And just, my hackles went up immediately. And it was like, this, how you just know, like, this gentleman is out of place. He should not be here. And so I weighed my options. It was turn around and go back or keep going. And so I kept going, which may not have been the smartest thing, but so he's kind of wandering around like far enough away from me that I could sneak by. But as I get closer to this, a smaller, narrower part of the trail, he starts making his way toward that narrow part of the trail too, almost as though we're going to hit it at the same time. Which I started to figure out as I got very, very close to it. And then we were right on top of each other. And I, kind of just snuck by him and I said hi and just kept moving, right? In about 3 seconds, a million thoughts went through my head. I was like, he can grab my fanny pack. He thinks I'm totally alone. I'm walking on this path and there is no one. There's no one. There's not a soul to be seen. No one will hear me scream, right? So I grab my fanny pack, I turn it around so that the big part is, in front of me, and I grab it really tight in front of me so that he can't grab it in the back. I was being over dramatic, and I don't know what it was. I just it made me very uncomfortable. And I call my daughter, pull my phone out, call my daughter, and I said, what are you doing? And she was doing her thing. And I was like, oh, good, you're running toward me. And she was like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, okay, well, if you keep running, I'm going to see you in a minute. And I'm saying this really loud because I don't want this guy to know that I'm alone. So I keep moving forward and I get far enough away and I turn around and he's not behind me. So I was like, okay, crisis averted. And from there I was like, okay, well, if he does come up behind me, I just kept watching. I can just walk the road back to my car. And it's I'll just stay on the road. I'll be off the trail at that point. My walk was beautiful. It was hazy. There was a couple other people on the trail, and the rest of my walk was absolutely uneventful. It was perfect. I cried and I worked through some shit that I had to work through. So I'm heading back to my car and I reached the spot that I saw the man before. And I was like, okay, good. He's not here. Like we're good. And then I get back to my car and I get to my driver's side and there is a note hanging out in between like the driver's side and the back door, a note shoved in there. Because initially I was like, oh, I left a receipt. Like a receipt must have come out when I got out of the car. So I grabbed this piece of paper and I was like, oh, and then I saw that there was writing on it and I assumed that somebody hit me. And this was just like them saying, sorry, I hit you. Here's my information. It was not somebody saying they hit me. It was somebody saying that they can't stop thinking about how beautiful I am and my dazzling eyes and blah, 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 blah. And blessings and then a name signed and then a phone number. And the only thing that went through my head in that moment was, I am alone. There is no one around. No one will hear me right now. This parking lot that is always busy is dead right now. There's no one that can hear me scream. So I drop the note. I get out of there. I report it to the police. We go through this whole thing. They find the note. The police go back immediately and they find the note. And the end result was pretty much, he really didn't break any laws. Like he was super creepy and, like there was something off clearly, but he didn't break any laws. It's not against the law to hit on me, even though the way he went about it was real bad. Right. But this episode isn't about the safety of this, of like women when we're alone. I want to talk about what happened before the note, what happened as I was approaching, before I even reached the guy, when I first caught sight of him, and I just knew that something wasn't right. Part of the reason I didn't turn around was because I didn't want to offend him. I didn't want him to feel bad. And quite frankly, I just assumed that I was overreacting. As, like sometimes I tend to do. I thought I was being a little bit dramatic. Even when I called my daughter, I was like, what an asshole thing to put her through. I just like, that was my first instinct to do. And so that's what I did. I went out of my way to convince myself that I was wrong. And I don't know what his intention was with that note. He was clearly watching me. He knew which car was mine. And like, while I was alone in that parking lot at the moment, there were other cars. It's not like I was the only car there. It's, it's a large parking lot. I was just the only person there at that time. Intuition isn't magic. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is in us that makes us say, like, this is something that you need to pay attention to. It could be his body language. It could have been his eye contact. It could have been the fact that there was like some strange guy wandering around looking in windows of a barn that was right there. My conscious brain was like, it's a little weird, but it's not dangerous. But everything else in me was like, there are like red flags just being thrown up left and right. And while I listened to it, I didn't listen to it enough. I should have turned around and gone back. I should have gone back to my car and left. It wasn't a big deal. I shouldn't have been outside anyway with the fucking smoke. Because I think sometimes we confuse politeness with safety. And this is huge. Like, how often do we stay in conversations because we don't want to stay rude? We smile and we laugh and we answer questions and we don't want to offend anyone. We don't want to embarrass them instead of simply leaving. And I've expressed this with my I talked about this when I talked about boundaries and Dr. Douche, right? Like, I'm really, really bad about this. I'm really bad about not wanting other people to feel uncomfortable while I twist myself in knots, feeling uncomfortable so that they don't, right? We prioritize everyone else's comfort over our own. And in this case, like, at least Dr. Douche, he was just being weird. Like, he was being weird in a gym. There was there was never a point that I felt unsafe. Here, I felt unsafe. I was in that parking lot and I was holding that note and I was like, I could be a Lifetime movie. I looked around and I didn't know who was watching me. I didn't know if somebody was going to grab me. I didn't know what the next move was going to be. I was driving and I called my husband and I was terrified watching my rearview mirror to make sure nobody pulled out of that parking lot behind me. But I knew before I finished getting on that fucking trail that something was wrong. I talked myself out of it. So what's the cost if you're wrong? What would have been so bad if I moved my car? So what if I offend him? What if I turned around? And what if I did offend him? Or what if I made him feel bad? Does it matter? Maybe he would be self-reflective. If he didn't have ill intent, perhaps he would be self-reflective enough to think, oh, maybe I should stop being weird here in this spot, and move on. And if he had ill intent, then good. Then I did what was best for me. Or maybe I would look silly or I'm overreacting if I moved my car, but I would have made sure I was safe. What would have happened had I not called my daughter in that moment? What would have happened if it was a different circumstance and he was aggressive? I had to go look at pictures today to see if they had this individual. I had to go over to the police station and do that today. And it was not the individual. It's another individual who was harassing women. I ignored my intuition. Not completely. There were aspects of it that I did listen to, but I overall ignored it. Now, not every uneasy feeling means danger. Sometimes it's just you being uncomfortable. Sometimes people just make you feel uncomfortable. My point is the downside of taking simple precautions when you do have that feeling is much smaller than the downside of dismissing all of it, especially when something's really wrong. I don't know what that man intended. When I was with the officer today, looking at pictures of another man who was harassing a woman, he said, maybe he was just trying to get your number. And that's entirely possible. What a weird fucking way to do it. Maybe he was really just awkward, and maybe he never meant to scare anyone, which is entirely possible. That's not the point, though. The point is that I felt something before I had a reason to feel something, and I'm really glad I did listen to that, even in the capacity that I did. Because our intuition isn't there to make us paranoid, it's there to keep us paying attention. If something feels off, you don't owe anyone an explanation before you protect yourself. I hope that all of you stay safe. I'm going to continue walking. I'm just going to be safer about it. I'm not going to go on a Thursday night when there's an air quality warning and nobody is allowed out of their house. I'm going to go on a Sunday morning. I went this morning. I went to my same place this morning and it was fine. There was a ton of people. Everything was normal. I'll continue to do that. It did open my eyes. I'm not going to lie. It did open my eyes to other ways that I don't pay attention to my surroundings and ways that I am careless with my safety. And I'm getting pepper spray. I'm going to carry pepper spray. I'm getting a little alarm to hook onto my little fanny pack that I throw on whenever I go on these walks. Then I keep my protein bar and my keys and my headphones. And I'm going to put a little alarm in there. I'm going to take precautions to keep myself safe. And I hope that you guys do the same thing. Until next time. That's it for this episode. If you had fun, learned something, or just feel a little less alone in the chaos, make sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss what's next. And if you want to keep the conversation going, come find me on Instagram at @HeatherMoves_, because midlife is way more fun when we do it together. Until next time, keep moving forward, or at least keep moving. See ya.